too, where they look so good in earlier stages of the tournament. I think Na'Vi just has their number, like you said, and it's because of the things they're doing. In my opinion, Angel in that map, the calling that he was doing, and again, the prep that every player is putting into that Sugetsu wallbang, the Xiao ace. There's so many moments that you're just like, this is too easy for them. And there's one in particular that I'll show later that just Angel, it's the type of thing that you see from him constantly.
Yeah, it was a great map from him. And I think the way that Na'Vi defaults on this map is so excellent. Because you could see multiple times where Leviathan wants to fight forward, they want to go for some gambits, take space on this map, but they were never being allowed to do so because Na'Vi was so oppressive. And when Na'Vi eventually went for these executes, it was so good as well.
Yeah, and they throw a little fake here towards short. But what I really want to do is bat chest about Angel, because this guy's a boomer like me, and I know Josh the other day was talking about King and how, you know, he made Vitality bend the knee, but what is a King to an Angel in moments like these? Because he is just ridiculous. He walks up mid. There's this right here is Josh was shocked about it. Bren was shocked about it. Everybody should be shocked about this because he almost broke his wrist doing that. And it's so nice because he gives you that explosivity that's not a word, by the way, but I just made it up, that you really have against Leviathan when they're the type of team that relies on that sort of thing and not the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, the way that he plays on this map in particular is just so good because he's so willing to just like go for a solo play, double TP in. Anytime he sees a gap in a defense, spots a player out of position, he'll TP in, he'll close the gap immediately and pop off. And it just opens up so many options for calling in the mid round. That was just beautifully done by Na'Vi. 6-6 at the half, we thought they were out of that one, but you can never count out their attack side.
He only does things that he can do, I feel like. No one else does the things that Angel does. But there's another guy that was also popping off as well. It is Xiao here in our Verizon high-speed moment of the match. The ace, you guys have that debate between King and Xiao. And Bala, when his team needs him the most, he does this.
This is ridiculous. This is 2 bullets. He just shot 2 bullets. He kills 2 people and then continues to swing once the rest of his team is there. The patience for him to chill for a second as well. That's insane. But it comes down to a 1v2. And, I mean, Sue, you were talking literally while this was happening. Oh, it's Xiao. It's Xiao. It's
He's gonna win it. Yeah, he wins these. He wins these, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like he always does. For Na'Vi, I think it was those clutch moments on the defense that... like, it was moments of that got them into the game, but what closed it out was Angel and the calling on that attacking side. And for Leviathan, in the pre-show, I was like, they've never had a half thus far where it seems like they are completely locked out. That's exactly what happened here. Despite taking multiple timeouts, they never were able to find a solution to what Na'Vi was throwing.
They're gonna have to dig deep here before map 2. Let's get a warm. Take a look even in the warm-up of the Aim Lab shoot-around with King this time. Mimi, you spoke a lot about him, what he brings us, to this team. How much do you think he needs to get his team together and step up going into Fracture?
I mean, I think a lot of it is going to be on him and also on kind of his ideas during the offseason. It's been a long time since we've gotten to see this team play on Fracture. We never really got to see them play it at Champions. So this is something where he's going to have to come in, have a really good idea of as a caller of how he wants to play this map, and actually this time succeed in out-calling Angel, which, as we've talked about a lot, is very difficult to do.
Yeah, and I think what was really tough as well was Na'Vi put themselves in such a good situation. In that second half, you had to give them so many opportunities to have that match point. They were so calm the entire time. You have to be pressuring them. And
yeah.
I think one thing that is really good about this series from Na'Vi, and just in general, is the way that they work the map pool. I mean, Josh was talking about how Fracture is kind of an unknown quantity from Leviathan, but for Na'Vi, it's been a strength for them in the past. And they really haven't been relying on it. So the way that they kind of make their pick really flexible is a strength that they have that other teams aren't really willing to do.
Which, I mean, I'm sure that made it quite difficult for Owner and for King to figure out where they were going to go in this map pool, how they wanted to prep for this one, but I'm sure they knew that Fracture wasn't going to be a possibility. Now the question is, what have these teams answered in the offseason? What is the composition they're going to run? Because previously, both these squads, we've only really seen it in the chamber meta.
Well, let's have a look here in the Prime Gaming Agents. We don't really see Leviathan play at all this map,
yeah,
Bala.
They played a little bit in the offseason, but one thing I want to know for sure right off the bat is what is Na'Vi going to go to? Because in my opinion, the Omen comp is dead with the new meta, with the way that...
They do it anyway.
They do it anyways. And the reason I say that is because the one-way in A main is gone. The one-way in so many positions are gone, and they go for it anyways.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see them go back to that one. Leviathan also running a double controller comp. But what I'm interested in is CNED versus Taco on the race. Both these players, known for their jet, have looked fantastic on it thus far. And I think there's going to have to be a bit of proof for both them if they can be adaptable.
Players.
Yeah.
Well, map 1, that was all Na'Vi. Let's see if Leviathan have what it takes to get back into this, Josh and Brent, and take us to a map 3.
Wouldn't that be something special? Map number 3 potentially there, but for Leviathan, a massive task ahead of them here on their opponent's map pick. Got to bring it all the way back that chance of not only revenge against a team that knocked them out at Champs, Josh, but also a chance of trying to claim the highest finish they've ever had in a tournament.
Yeah, it means so much for Leviathan, and yet they always keep running into this gatekeeper squad of Na'Vi. The desk was talking about how Na'Vi have had their number before in the past, and also I feel like, again, this is... Na'Vi are just such a barrier for Leviathan to get through. This map is such an interesting choice too. Leviathan have been second round banning it every time in this tournament so far, and it feels like for Na'Vi, despite the fact that they're on the hunt for that second trophy, the first team that would ever do it, they're just so happy to play whatever, anything.
Really treating this tournament lock-in at Sao Paulo as a bit of a jaunt at times, honestly, as well. These pick bans across the board, perfectly willing, perfectly willing to give away any information, but it's that contact play and a fight taking place. Space was gained there for Leviathan, using that util to clear up the angles, but traded quite effectively. And down to just Mazzino, already position known, and CNED not even offered the chance to hit any bullets.
That is the third pistol in a row that's gone the way of Na'Vi. Think about how different map 1 could have been if they'd traded pistol rounds. If Na'Vi hadn't been allowed to have access to a bonus buy, it could have made all the difference in this series. And when I think of top South American teams like Loud, like Leviathan, I think of excellence in the pistol and in the bonus. Leviathan have not showcased that here today. And it may end up hurting them. No force buy either. So Na'Vi allowed an opportunity to build the bank up early. And there are so many interesting things to talk about with these compositions. I think I want to follow up from the desk immediately though, and just the CNED Taco story.
Yeah.
We saw them go head-to-head in the jet battle. I think you could say that CNED came out on top there, was able to be set up by his team a little better and found a ton of value. But it wasn't the defining factor. The Raze battle here might end up being defining. We've seen both of these guys struggle a little bit more on Raze compared to their jet. And it's been a big talking point, especially with CNED.
Yeah, that was the underlying question.
How deep does his agent pool actually go? I thought we might end up seeing him on Sage here.
Exactly. Plan's going to be easily come by, so the Leviathan now just grouping up, making sure that they don't give away again any ult orbs unnecessarily by throwing their lives away into a lot of these Na'Vi players.
I think it's difficult when you play against Na'Vi's buy because you really need to kill 3 players even to take a single Spectre out of their hands.
Yeah.
And it's only when you kill the 4th player that they really start dropping weapons that are really important to them. So it is going to be Leviathan just all dying to the spike here. Doesn't allow their ults to go up either. Keeps everything in stasis. And Na'Vi's attack side with these kind of compositions, though they've never run this exact comp before, but then this idea where they're running the Omen, the Viper, the Raze, this kind of stuff, they normally play quite slowly on the attack sides. They're going to look to establish control and stop any aggression early, and then squeeze one portion of the map.
That's going to be the goal.
I think it's going
to
be quite difficult for Leviathan to get aggressive. If Taco wants to take early fights, which he usually does, over a quarter of his fights are done at the beginning of the round. I think it's going to be very hard against Na'Vi's comp here.
Love that shot, just straight through the tiniest of gaps.
That's what Leviathan are looking to do, break through the glass ceiling.
Let's see if they can achieve a little bit more compared to what they've done in the past. But again, running into that roadblock. Na'Vi managing their economy well again. Same talking point that we were bringing out in that previous map where they've got those rifles.
One nade from CNED here, and Shai's setup. Heaven is dismantled. King, though, finds the first, and that's important, the IGL battle.
Great opener. Nade's going to be heard. Shai, obviously activating that Nana Swarm, making sure that nobody can take that space towards the back of Arcade. But now, cutting noise for ever so slightly. Shao knows there's a player there. Paranoia and a Satchel pushing forwards now. And Shai who's really pushed back, and he can't quite get anything else done with it. King's going to start to feel it now. The pressure to squeeze from the players moving forwards, and he needs some relief from the rest of his team. But they're just all smoked off. Mazzino, how does he want to play this now? Just waiting for the smokes to fade. The util left.
It's a great position from Shao. He's got to be hard cleared.
has to be hard cleared. That nade, though, gives him an opportunity. It's a pop flash play. Xiao wanted to get aggressive right into their faces so that he couldn't set it up. Taco, a bit of an unusual satchel. Maybe not intended, but doesn't clear too much. And they are really running down the clock, waiting for that Viper wall to go down. Still Zipan, the reposition. It's up to Sagetsu. 1v3, first shot found. 1, 2, 3! That is absurd!
Giving me flashbacks to the final play to win Masters Copenhagen. Na'Vi, they're in trophy lifting form. You can see it with every move of their players, every moment of pret that comes to life. And then magic like this. God, they're good.
Insanity.
And the small eyebrow lift from Ona there, I think that's all the emotion you can possibly afford to give. I mean, what can you do there? You just got to shrug and accept. Sagetsu is sometimes better. He's just better.
Yeah, Sagetsu apparently warms up for Aim Labs by playing Valorant, but
I mean, how can you not look at a play like that and just be amazed? Sagetsu is him.
so probably not the intended area for that Viper Orb. Good observing.